COVID-19 surge continues to sweep across India, driven by the Omicron variant. India reported 3.47 lakh new COVID-19 cases. That is 9% higher than Thursday. India's positivity rate is also up from 16.41% to 17.94%. And in a testimony to the highly contagious nature of the Omicron variant, India has gone from 1 lakh to 20 lakh weekly cases in 20 days. It took 58 days to reach the same milestone in the second wave. And Delhi has reported over 10,000 new cases. The weekend curfew in Delhi, though, will stay for now. The Lieutenant Governor overrode the AAP government's recommendation to lift it in view of declining COVID cases. Thus, even though COVID-19 cases in the national capital have seen a marked decline over the past few days from a peak of nearly 30,000 on the 14th of January to just over 10,000 cases on Friday. However, we've seen 43 confirmed deaths. That's the most since June last year, when 44 people had died.
Amit, just 21 years old, is taking on the responsibility of the eldest son, cremating his father Satish Kumar, 53 years old, and a TB patient who died after contracting COVID. His younger brother Raja, only 13, is inconsolable. The two brothers hunched over with grief.
टीबी की दिक्कत थी, वो सही हो गई थी बिल्कुल. ये भी हो सकता है कि डॉक्टर को कोई कोविड हो रखा हो, उसके वजह से भी हो सकता है.
12-year-old Arsalan is now orphaned. His father Naved, just 35 years old, died this morning of COVID. His mother had died during childbirth. Naved was unvaccinated.
13 तारीख को उनको सांस लेने में दिक्कत हो रही थी, तो जब जीटीबी में उनको भर्ती करा था.
अभी बात कर रहा हूं. उनको वैक्सीन लगी थी सर?
नहीं मैडम, वैक्सीन नहीं लगी.
While the positivity rate in the national capital has dipped to 21.48%, Delhi has reported over 12,000 new cases and 43 deaths in 24 hours.
दिल्ली के अंदर यंगस्टर की डेथ होनी शुरू हो गई है, लेकिन इसमें एक बात और आ रही है. जितनी अभी तक हमने क्रीमेट किया है या दफनाया है, इसमें अनवैक्सीनेटेड लोग ज़्यादा हैं, जिन्होंने वैक्सीनेशन नहीं कराया है. I think वो 80% डेड बॉडी वो हैं.
In the last 24 hours, Delhi has recorded 43 COVID deaths, the highest since this Omicron wave has begun. This time the death rate is much lower than it was in previous waves, but we cannot avert our eyes from the tragedy still unfolding. This time we've seen many cases of people who were admitted to hospital for severe illnesses, other illnesses, who contracted COVID at hospital and then died very soon after. With AJ Joseph, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
All right, let's get you all the election news. Utpal Parikar, the son of the three-time Goa Chief Minister, the former Union Minister, the Defence Minister Manohar Parikar, parted company with the BJP on Friday after the party refused to offer him a ticket for the Panaji seat. That's his father's seat in the coming assembly elections in the seaside state. Announcing that he would contest as an independent candidate, Utpal Parikar says that the time has come for him to take a stand for the values that he stands for and let the people of Panaji decide his political fate.
For some reason, I am not able to get the candidature of Panaji constituency. It has been given to someone who has opportunistically come within the party in last 2 years. Due to these circumstances, I have no choice but to stand for the values my father believed in. I will be contesting as an independent candidate from Panaji constituency.
And from Goa to UP, where the BJP has announced more candidates for the UP elections, Congress rebel Aditi Singh has gotten a ticket from the Congress bastion of Rai Bareli. The former IPS officer Asim Arun has gotten a ticket from Kannauj. A crucial seat where the BJP has declared its candidate is Nighasan in Lakhimpur. The Union Minister Ajay Mishra's son Ashish, who is accused of running over farmers last October, was a strong contender for this seat. It has now been given to another candidate. Ashish Mishra is in jail. He has now been charge sheeted for those murders. And the Congress released its youth manifesto for the Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, promising to solve a number of issues related to the youth, including unemployment. This in its vision document for India's most populous state. And in an exclusive interview with Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, NDTV Srinivasan Jain asked her about her hint earlier on Friday that she was the Congress's chief ministerial face.
You are building on the ground, but the lack of a leadership structure or a face in Uttar Pradesh remains a challenge. I just saw that you had a press conference where you said, when they were asked, "Koi chehra kaun hai?"
I was being a bit tongue-in-cheek.
Okay, but you said that you are the chehra.
No, and I said, I mean, look, because I'm asked this question, every second question is the same question.
Yes.
Now, clearly, I am the General Secretary of Uttar Pradesh, and in most ways between me and Ajay Lalluji, who is the Pradesh Adhyaksh, and Mona ji, who is the CLP leader, we are leading the effort in Uttar Pradesh.
Now, you say your
Now,
face is on
this
every poster.
It is. So, but I mean, whether now officially we have to say that this is the face or that is the face, I mean, it's unlikely that we're going to do that.
But you're saying it's safe to assume that you
No,
are the sort of
no, it's not
face
safe.
of
No, you
of the
can't.
Congress?
You can't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's safe to assume. I'm saying that I am the General Secretary of Uttar Pradesh. The responsibility for Uttar Pradesh is mine, and I'm dealing with it.
Why aren't you fighting the elections then?
Well, you don't know yet whether I am or not. So
Okay. Is
That's
that
it.
is that an open question?
it's an open question for now.
So you might fight the
I
election
may
if it
well.
comes to it.
I may well.
Okay. Have you given any thought to where you might want to fight from, or
I've left
what-
this discussion for a little bit later. So when we do have the discussion, and if at all I decide to fight, I will let you know.
that's interesting. Can we assume from that that you are also in a sense positioned as the Congress's chief ministerial candidate in UP?
No, I don't think you should make assumptions like that. I have clearly said that that is not the case.
Okay.
I have clearly said just now also to you. Of
Yes.
course, I made a tongue-in-cheek remark at the press
Indeed.
conference, but no, I
Okay.
don't think it's fair to assume that.
But at least we can say that you are considering fighting these elections. That's not, we won't be
Yeah, I'm
wrong in saying that.
considering- No. And the discussion is on amongst us internally in the party in Uttar Pradesh. And when we come to some consensus about it, we'll let you know.
Is there a possibility, as some have suggested, that you might be fighting against Yogi Adityanath?
No,
That's not on the cards.
No.
If I may ask, just as a provocation, why not?
Well, until you've mentioned it now, actually I haven't considered it.
Okay. Because often it's seen as one way of trying to establish presence, right? Like Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhim Army, very small party, nascent. He's taking on Yogi in Gorakhpur, sends out a message. Is that something
But there are many
you
ways
think
of
is-
sending out the message. I've been taking Yogi on for the last 2.5 years. So that's my message.
And in Uttarakhand, Dharak Singh Rawat, who had been expelled from the BJP and was one of the Congress's rebels against Harish Rawat, has now joined the Congress again after, as he put it, convincing the leadership.
South Africa won the second ODI of the series by 7 wickets. With that, the series is now in their bag. To look back at where India fell short and to understand if they can stage a turnaround in the series, I am joined by former Indian cricketer Ashok Malhotra, Sanjay Jha, the founder of crickettex.com, and Gautam Bhattacharya, senior associate editor of Gulf News. South Africa seems to have set a target of win against India. This is the third time in the series that they have won by 7 wickets, 2 test matches and the second ODI.
Yes, I know somehow we have to stop the juggernaut. I don't know how they're going to do it, because the body language is totally different. It is a defeatist attitude they have as of now. You know, till Virat was there, it looked like we can win everything. You know, anything in the world we can win, except for the ICC trophies. We almost won everything. But with this lot, you know, especially the bowling department, it looks very weak. You know, our strength used to be bowling. But this bowling is because we are not able to pick up early wickets. Because in one-day cricket, you have to pick up wickets if you want to check the flow of runs. And if you can't pick up wickets, then you're bound to struggle. You know, 287 was, I would say, at par total. But the kind of the way they're winning South Africa, they're winning with 7 wickets. Both the test matches, they won by 7 wickets. First ODI won by 7 wickets, and now this ODI, they won by 7 wickets. It is, I would say, it's a below par performance by India, and they are looking a very jaded lot. They are not looking the ones which have fire in the belly, which they want to win, and the positive intent is totally missing, and the body language of KL Rahul. Even after match at the conference, the way it says we are learning. We were the teachers. When have we become the students? I didn't know. Only at this series we have become students. We were the teachers. We are teaching the world how to play cricket. I'm amazed at the body language of the skipper and the entire team.
Sanjay, last match around this time when we were discussing about India's loss, we were talking about India's middle order unable to put up the kind of performance that's needed of them. Today, would you say that that has taken a backseat with the bowling attack looking pedestrian?
Yeah, Rika, I think let's be honest here. We have been outplayed by South Africa in the test matches and now in both the one-day matches. If you look at the ODIs, for example, we have lost convincingly. In fact, I think a lot of people would have expected that probably given the fact that we had, a very, very aggressive bowling attack, you had spinners, you had fast bowlers, you had Bumrah in form, that India would be able to contain them. But the fact that the South Africans, look at everybody, Quinton de Kock downwards, everyone kept a very belligerent pace. And they have actually won the match with, effortless ease. The last match they, I think, won by 31 runs, which is, a pretty wide margin in a one-day tournament. So I do believe that India is struggling with the bowling. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar definitely stands out as someone who will need to go back to the drawing board. But even Shardul Thakur, terrific batsman, ironically, but struggling as a bowler. Chahal was okay. Ashwin had a rough day, as they say, a bad hair day, for example. But, full credit to South Africa. I think one of the things that we need to acknowledge is that you're playing against a team at home that clearly is a different team. A lot of people in India probably haven't seen these South African names of these players before, barring those who play in the IPL. But they have turned out to be a formidable outfit, and we have been completely outperformed on the pitch.
Gautam, coming to you, let's talk a little bit about India's bowling performance today. Except for Jasprit Bumrah, would you say that the bowling unit now requires a major shake-up?
Yes, it does. I mean, you see, what's happening is up front, it's putting a lot of pressure on Jasprit Bumrah to come back and strike again and again. I mean, he's the only go-to guy. So Bhuvaneshwar we had been seeing for some time that he is no longer the bowler that he was. He is not being able to contain runs at the slog overs. Neither today, in fact, he just let the initiative slip in the opening overs. So you've got people like, Deepak Chahar. See, ultimately this series, it was not part of the World Cup Super League. So you've got to try these guys rather than go by reputation and look at a shake-up there.
Now, KL Rahul spoke about giving these guys who are currently playing in the team a longer rope. But Ashok, do you see this is the last time that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar has played for India?
I would think so. Because since he's come back from injury, even in IPL, he was a shadow of himself. I've been saying even the first game onwards that he is a shadow of himself. He's not able to swing the ball. He used to bowl at 140, 135. Now he's bowling at 125 clicks. Which is a very, very mediocre to say the least. And if you can't swing the ball, then you're not good enough. And it is not that he's not picking up early wickets. He's not able to keep the pressure from the other end. Bumrah keeps on putting the pressure, but the other end, pressure is missing. So it is a free hit for the South Africans. So definitely it is probably the last game he's
Ashok,
going
would you
through.
Say injuries have derailed what could have been a brilliant career?
Yes, definitely. And he's very, very injury prone and he's not been able to bounce back. I still feel he's not 100% fit. He's not putting in best effort because when your body is not fit, then you're not try your best. Then you go through motions. You try to, go within your means that you don't hurt yourself. And that is exactly what is happening with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. He is not at his fittest. He is not at his best and which is hurting the Indian team.
It's hurting the Indian team. The other thing that probably hurt the Indian team was the performance of its spinners. Sanjay, would you say one of the major differences between the Indian and the South African side today was the way the spinners performed in both the units?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very paradoxical reality, right? Normally, we expect the Indian spinners to be completely in command. But if you look at the three South African spinners, Shamsi, Markram, everybody, I mean, they were really brilliant. I mean, not just the economy rate, but they got wickets. So, if you think about it, there was absolutely no comparison between the two. And a lot of people would have expected that with the wicket becoming slower, since it was the second match being played on the same track, that the Indian spinners would actually be probably, calling the shots. But that didn't happen. But I disagree with Ashok to some extent. With Rahul Dravid as the coach, I don't think that any bowler, even Bhuvaneshwar, who's probably, recovering or convalescing from an injury, even nobody who's fully fit or ready to go would be in the team. I think we have now reached a professional standard where if anybody has a niggle or is even 5% unfit, I don't think they would be really put on the playing 11. So I think it's a question of form, and I do hope for the sake of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar that he's able to get back to striking that the rich horse that he used to get in the past. He's far too good a bowler to have actually to be considered as one of the liabilities in the team at the moment.
Gautam, coming to you, some curious comments coming in from skipper KL Rahul. He said the energy was great, but it was too hot there in the middle. Probably it was about 41 degrees. Temperatures like India, but he said that they have not played 50 overs cricket for a while, though he isn't trying to put these up as excuses. But, what did you make out all of this coming from the Indian ODI captain?
See, everybody has seen how the series has panned out. So, you can't be in a state of denial, really. You've just come out of a test series. In South Africa, you're in a different hemisphere. So, I believe the weather would marginally shift. Yes, there it was 39, 40 degrees.
Right.
And what was certainly needed all the more. I heard your discussion after the first day also. The energy is possibly the biggest thing that was missing in the body language. So there is no point in denying that, really, Rika.
Well, let's see how the energies work out for the Indian cricket team when the final match of the tournament moves to Cape Town. India are already 2-0 down in the ODI series. The South Africans have taken an unbeatable lead in the 3 ODI series. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the broadcast this evening.